In March 2025, a leaked internal White House memo labeled 67% of H-1B visa holders as replaceable low-skill workers. And one name kept appearing in that briefing: Sundar Pichai. What happened next became the most viral corporate response in tech history, and it might have just changed the future of America forever. It started during a Piers Morgan interview that was supposed to be about economic policy. Standard stuff. Tariffs, inflation, jobs. But then Trump went off script. These Indian tech workers, they're not innovators. They're taking jobs from real Americans at discount prices. The internet exploded. Twitter melted down. Cable news ran it on loop for 48 hours. But behind the outrage, there were real people watching their lives get reduced to a talking point. Meet Priya Mehta, 34 years old. Software engineer from Gujarat, India. She came to the US in 2019 on an H-1B visa with one suitcase and a dream that was literally written into American mythology. Work hard, build something, belong. Priya spent 5 years debugging AI systems at a Fortune 500 company. 80-hour weeks. Missed birthdays. Watched her daughter's first steps on FaceTime because she couldn't risk taking a day off. One wrong move and her visa could be revoked. And for all that, she made $95,000 a year. Her American coworkers doing the exact same job? $140,000. Now here's the part that should make you angry, no matter where you stand politically. A Stanford Migration Policy Institute study from 2024 found that H-1B workers like Priya contribute $25 billion annually to Social Security, despite being 3 times less likely to ever claim those benefits. They pay into a system they'll probably never see a dime from. But the real explosion? That happened when Silicon Valley's most powerful CEO decided he'd had enough. Sundar Pichai didn't rage tweet. He didn't hold a press conference flanked by crying engineers. What he did was far more devastating. First, he released a 14-minute internal company meeting recording to Bloomberg. Unedited, raw, emotional. Google employees from 12 countries sharing their stories. The frustration. The fear. The betrayal. Then, 48 hours later, he walked onto Piers Morgan's show. And he brought receipts. Mr. President, let me introduce you to the team that built the algorithm currently protecting your social media account from cyber attacks. 12 people. 11 of them immigrants. 8 on H-1B visas. Piers froze. You could hear the audience shift in their seats. But Pichai wasn't done. He pulled out a tablet and started presenting data live, on air. 58% of Google's AI patents filed by immigrant engineers. $180 billion in U.S. tax revenue generated by immigrant-founded tech companies between 2019 and 2024. 3.2 million American jobs created by companies with immigrant co-founders. Then he told a story. Rajesh Kumar, 41 years old. Former H-1B worker from Hyderabad. In 2016, Rajesh had $8,000 in savings, a laptop, and an idea for a cybersecurity platform. He started his company in a one-bedroom apartment in Dayton, Ohio. Not exactly Silicon Valley. Today, that company employs 240 Americans. Average salary $87,000 a year. Rajesh looked into the camera during Pichai's presentation and said, "I was called low-skill while my code was protecting Pentagon servers." Let that sink in. And then Pichai said something that made even Piers Morgan go silent. Every time you unlock your iPhone with your face, use Google Maps to avoid traffic, or ask Alexa a question, you're using technology built on the backs of people you're calling replaceable. The clip went mega viral. 47 million views in 72 hours. But here's what the headlines missed, and here's where it gets dangerous for America's future. Within 72 hours of that interview, something unprecedented started happening at airports across America. 14,000 H-1B visa holders applied for Canadian work permits in 1 week. That's according to Reuters, March 2025. Not a projection. Not a hypothetical. It's happening right now. Ananya Desai, 29 years old. AI researcher at Microsoft. She'd spent 5 years in Seattle building machine learning models for cloud computing. Brilliant. Published. On track for senior leadership. Then a Toronto-based AI lab offered her $340,000 a year and permanent residency with a path to citizenship in 3 years. She took it. "I can't raise kids in a country that sees me as a threat," she told The Verge. Microsoft lost 18 months of proprietary research she'd been leading. Just gone. And it gets worse. A Brookings Institution report from February 2025 found something that's never happened in US history. Tech talent outflow now exceeds inflow. Let me repeat that. For the first time ever, more skilled tech workers are leaving the United States than coming in. The projected cost? $67 billion loss to GDP by 2027. But here's what nobody's talking about. While America was debating who deserves to be here, other countries were writing blank checks. Canada fast-tracked 40,000 tech worker visas in Q1 2025 alone. Not over several years. In 3 months. Germany launched Silicon Berlin, a tax-free zone specifically for immigrant founders. Free office space. Streamlined residency. They're literally rolling out the red carpet. The UAE? Dubai's tech-free zone is offering 10-year residency and zero income tax to tech workers and their families. No questions asked. Just bring your talent. And the companies are following the talent. Bloomberg reported in April 2025 that Apple is exploring moving 30% of its R&D operations to Bangalore. Tesla's AI division? Considering a Toronto expansion. Amazon Web Services quietly opened 3 new data centers in Berlin, each one a facility that was originally planned for Virginia. This isn't a brain drain. It's a brain hemorrhage. And we're watching it happen in real time. Let me tell you about someone you've probably never heard of. Dr. Wei Chin. 38 years old. Computational biologist who spent 7 years at Stanford working on cancer detection algorithms. Her work was groundbreaking. She developed an AI system that could detect pancreatic cancer 18 months earlier than traditional methods. Pancreatic cancer, the one with a 9% 5-year survival rate because we catch it too late. Dr. Chen's algorithm could have saved thousands of lives every year. But she was on an H-1B visa, and the renewal process became a nightmare. Lawyers. Paperwork. Uncertainty. She got an offer from a research institute in Singapore. Full citizenship in 2 years. $400,000 salary. State-of-the-art lab. She left in February 2025. Took her research with her. That cancer detection system? It'll save lives. Just not American lives. And there's a historical parallel here that nobody wants to admit. This has happened before. In 1933, when Germany started expelling Jewish scientists and intellectuals, America opened its doors. And what did we get? Albert Einstein, Enrico Fermi, John von Neumann, Edward Teller, the atomic bomb, the transistor, the polio vaccine, the foundation of Silicon Valley itself. An Oxford economics study calculated that the post-World War II brain drain generated $2.3 trillion in U.S. economic value, adjusted for inflation. We didn't just win a war. We built a century of dominance because we welcomed the people everyone else rejected. We became a superpower not despite immigration, but because of it. And now we're about to throw it all away over talking points. Picture this. It's 2030. 5 years from now. You wake up and reach for your phone. It's Chinese, designed in Shenzhen, because Apple moved its core team to India and Taiwan. Your AI assistant? Built in Bangalore by engineers who used to work in Mountain View. Your electric car's software? Programmed in Berlin by the team that left Detroit. Your kids are learning coding in school, but the best computer science programs are no longer at MIT or Stanford. They're in Toronto, Munich, and Singapore. Because that's where the talent went. That's where the innovation followed. And America? We're still arguing about who deserves to be here while the rest of the world builds the future without us. This isn't science fiction. The dominoes are already falling. A leaked National Security Council memo from February 2025 warned, loss of AI talent supremacy equals loss of military technology advantage within 6 years. Think about what that means. The next generation of cyber defense systems, autonomous weapons, satellite technology, all of it depends on AI. And if we lose the people who build AI, we lose the ability to defend ourselves. The World Economic Forum predicts that if current trends continue, the US will drop from number 1 to number 7 in tech innovation by 2032. Number 7. Behind China, Canada, Germany, South Korea, Singapore, and the UK. General David Morrison, retired NSA director, testified before Congress in March 2025. The engineers we're deporting today are the ones who would have built the defense systems protecting us tomorrow. He wasn't being dramatic. He was reading from classified intelligence assessments. But then something strange started happening. Americans, regular Americans, started fighting back. 180 CEOs signed an open letter opposing visa restrictions. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook. Even executives who usually avoid politics put their names on this. The hashtag #SaveOurInnovation hit 4.2 million tweets in 5 days. But here's the part that got me. In Dayton, Ohio, remember Rajesh Kumar's company? Factory workers rallied outside their congressman's office. Union workers. Blue-collar Americans. Holding signs that said, "He gave us jobs when no one else would." They weren't protesting for some abstract ideal. They were fighting for the immigrant who'd built a company that fed their families. One of the workers, Tom Henderson, 52, machinist, told a local news crew, "I don't care where Rajesh is from. I care that my daughter can afford college because he gave me a job when the old factory shut down." That clip should have gone viral. It didn't, because it doesn't fit the narrative. But the most powerful response? It came from someone who never said a word publicly until he did. Markets don't care about politics. They care about profit. And in March 2025, they sent a terrifying message. US tech stocks lost $340 billion in market cap in 2 weeks post-controversy. $340 billion. That's more than the entire GDP of Finland. Gone. In 14 days. Venture capital investment in US startups dropped 23%. Canadian and European startup funding? Up 41%. The money is flowing to where the talent is going. 7 unicorn startups, billion-dollar companies, announced they were moving their headquarters out of the United States. In 1 month, Stripe, the payments company, relocated its primary operations to Dublin. Notion moved to Tokyo. Scale AI opened its new headquarters in Toronto. These aren't small companies. These are the next generation of tech giants, and they're leaving. Goldman Sachs released a report in March 2025 with a sentence that should be on the front page of every newspaper. The immigrant founder exodus poses a greater risk to the US economy than any trade war. Not China. Not tariffs. And then, 3 weeks after the Piers Morgan interview, Sundar Pichai made an announcement that sent shockwaves through Washington. Google paused a $12 billion US data center expansion, pending policy clarity on workforce mobility. 18,000 construction jobs frozen. Not tech jobs. Construction jobs. Electricians, welders, concrete workers. For states, Ohio, Texas, Nevada, Georgia, suddenly panicking. Governors calling emergency meetings. Senators who'd backed visa restrictions? They were calling Pichai's office within hours. Can we talk about this? Too late. The market had spoken. At a shareholders' meeting, Pichai said this. "We don't make political statements. We make business decisions. And right now, the business case for US expansion is uncertain." No yelling. No threats. Just cold corporate pragmatism. And it was more powerful than any speech. But here's what really happened behind closed doors. I spoke with a source inside one of these meetings, and they told me something chilling. When senators pushed back, asking Pichai to reconsider, he opened a laptop and showed them a presentation. It was a map of the world with Google's current and planned facilities. Then he showed them a second map. The one where facilities would be if visa policies didn't change. 60% of the dots moved outside the United States. This isn't a threat, Pichai reportedly said. This is a forecast. We go where the talent is. They used to be here. It might not be anymore. The room went silent, because everyone knew he wasn't bluffing. If you're watching this on a smartphone, There's a 90% chance an immigrant wrote part of its code. If you've ever used GPS, searched the web, or survived on a ventilator during COVID, immigrant engineers made that possible. Google? Founded by Sergey Brin, immigrant from Russia. Tesla? Elon Musk, immigrant from South Africa. YouTube? Co-founded by Jawed Karim, immigrant from Germany. Nvidia, the company powering the entire AI revolution? Founded by Jensen Huang, immigrant from Taiwan. Half of America's billion-dollar startups were founded by immigrants or children of immigrants. Not 10%. Not 20%. This isn't about charity. It's not about being nice. It's about survival. America has two choices right now. Path: continue scapegoating the people who built Silicon Valley. Watch innovation and the wealth it creates move to Toronto, Berlin, and Bangalore. Watch our children compete for jobs in a world where America is no longer the place where the future gets built. Path B: recognize that talent has no borders. Keep the world's best minds here. Maintain tech dominance for another generation. Create millions of jobs. Stay competitive. Stay relevant. We can't have it both ways. And here's the question nobody wants to answer. What happens when the rest of the world has better AI than us? When their military technology is more advanced? When their economy grows faster because they welcomed the people we rejected? What happens when American kids grow up in a country that's no longer number one, because we decided that fear was more important than progress? So here's what I want to know. If you had to choose between protecting jobs by blocking immigrants or protecting America's future by keeping the world's best minds here, which would you pick? And more importantly, can you even separate the two? Drop your honest answer in the comments. And if you think I'm wrong, tell me why. I'll pin the best counterargument. Because in 5 years, we'll all know who was right. And by then it'll be too late to fix it. Thanks for watching.